So there is a striker crisis at Nottingham Forest, but this is not going to be a short-term problem. Welcome to your Forest News. Alright guys, so as everyone knows, Nottingham Forest main striker Taiwo Awoniyi, or Awoniyi, however you guys want to pronounce it, is out, and he's out for a month. But obviously the international break has come and that will help. I don't know if he'll be back straight after the end of that month or it will be 6 weeks. Some people are saying it's 6 to 7 weeks. But that's not where the problem ends, because we have a huge problem coming up in the striker department when it comes to the AFCON, the African Cup of Nations, which will be in January, which potentially could run for about 5 weeks or so. So again, we'll be out without Taiwo, unless of course they keep him injured till the squad's announced and has to go out, and then he makes a miraculous recovery. But I don't think that's going to happen. And when you look at what we have in backup, currently we've got Chris Wood and we've got Taiwo Awoniyi, neither of which have set the City ground alight as of yet. Yes, Chris Wood scored the winning goal against Sheffield United, and of course the famous 20 pass sequence against Man City last season. But can anyone sit there and confidently say that they would expect either of these to step up and replace Taiwo? So not only is it a short-term issue that we have with the current injury, but it is going to be an issue that probably takes us into February. And with Taiwo coming back, will he be, fully match up straight away? There's another international break towards the end of November. There's a lot of games in December. I think we got 5 of them. So will he be able to sustain it all? And I think right now, from what I'm seeing, is that come January, the recruitment Forest will be focused on a striker. Now, I'm sure we all would love a 60 to 70 million pound striker, maybe just signing one player and bringing him in. But realistically, that's not going to happen. They're too expensive. They're too rare a breed. But what I do expect Forest to do is revisit some of those names that were linked in the summer for those up and coming strikers. The recruitment so far from South America has been next to fantastic with Nottingham Forest, with the likes of Danilo coming in. We've seen Murillo burst onto the scene, and the scouting network down there is really, really good. But Forest have already scouted 3 potential strikers from the Brazilian league. And I think each of these has their own qualities. So I just want to quickly remind you of the 3 that have definitely been linked with Nottingham Forest. And I do expect us to ramp it up and go in for one of these in January, if not 2, because this is going to have to be the strategy. There is no point in spending 60 to 70 million on a striker in the current state that Forest are. They have to unearth these gems. And the 3 players that they identified in the summer, in my opinion, all are gems. At different levels, of course, at different stages of their development, but each of them would be an excellent addition to Nottingham Forest. So let's quickly run you guys through those 3. Okay, so let's start with David Washington. And I know he's already moved to Chelsea, but there was Forest who are linked, there was Bayern who are linked, and I think Real Madrid. Some big name clubs. And he went for about 16 million euros, which is what, 13.5 million pounds. I still think he could be a viable option because Chelsea may look to push him out on loan. And I do think he has that potential. He would be bottom of my list on those 3 because obviously he's contracted to Chelsea. Now, we all know the hoo-ha between Forest and Chelsea. Well, actually, there is no hoo-ha. But the media hype and the media speculation about Santos not getting game time at Nottingham Forest is being pushed as an agenda, especially from Fabrizio Romano. So is this a viable option come January? I think the answer to it will be no. But I do think that Chelsea will look to move him out on loan if he's not getting any game time. But what do you guys think about him? Would you take him from Chelsea or not? Now, the next 2 are still available and are still in Brazil and could be moved. Remember, the Brazilian season as well is slightly different in terms of its timings to the Premier League. And the one that I was really excited about, but isn't my number 1, was, of course, Marcus Leonardo from Santos. He would have cost us about 15 to 17 million euros. And he is a wonder kid as they always say about these Brazilian young stars. He's very skillful, very pacey, good eye for a goal, but has a lot of development to do. And I think he could be one that Forest should seriously consider, going back in for after all the links we had with him in the summer. He is going to make it in European football, but the question is going to be at which club. Now, having said that, can you chuck this kind of responsibility onto a young kid coming from Brazil? We've seen when Cooper's brought these Brazilians in, he's waited at least 3 to 4 weeks before starting to bed them into the first team. And I don't think we have that luxury. So potentially, could this actually happen? And would it happen in time to replace Taiwo? I think the answer would be no anyway. But I do seriously believe that Forest will recruit one of these two players coming up in the January window. So let's move on to my favorite one. And that, of course, is Matheus Nascimento, who really looks like a hot prospect and talent. And Forest were very strongly linked with him in the summer transfer window. Could this be rekindled? There was actually talks that he was leaving to go to other European clubs, and they broke down. So he still is available and on the market for Nottingham Forest. But the real issue here and the real question is, which side of the argument do you sit on? Do you think Forest should buy someone youthful who would have to kind of work their way into the team? Or do you think Forest need some experience, someone who can just parachute straight into the first team? And if you think that, then who would it be? Now, I'm not completely writing off Chris Wood or Origi. I think Origi still needs to sharpen up. I think there might be some more to offer out of him. I've said what I've had to say about Chris Wood since we've signed him. Nothing against him. It's more so the deal. But is there another player you can think of who could parachute straight into the Forest team in this window? Now, the other one who would fit that mold that Forest have been chasing and have chased for almost 2 summers now would be Batman, of course, Batshuayi, who nearly again signed for Forest, but we opted to go for Origi over him on the loan deal. Now, if come the end of this first phase of the Premier League up until Christmas and Origi and Wood haven't pulled their weight, could Forest go back in for Batshuayi and pick him up on the cheap? Because he's still out in Turkey. I still think he scores a lot of goals. He has Premier League experience and could fit that mold. What do you guys think to him? Let me know in the comments down below. Out of all of these options, which is your preferred one and who would you go for? Or is there another name you got up your sleeve that you want to share? Let us know down in the comments. If you've enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new, and go grab your Steve Cooper framed signed shirt. You've only got till 7:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Come on, you Reds.